Nakajima, but he was not only Godzilla, he was just about every Toho giant monster you could think of, as well as the advisor on Ultraman when they started doing the Ultra series in Japan. He not only performed as some of those characters, but he also was the advisor as the most experienced suit actor. So let's bring him out, Mr. Ho Nakajima. Next, we have, for the first time anywhere, Mr. Tsugotoshi Kamada, who was the actor who played Jet Jaggery. He was also a suit actor on TV productions in Japan. No other convention was ever interested in Mr. Kamada except the promoter of Wintercon specifically asked for him. And luckily we found him and he was available to come here. This is the first time anywhere in the world, even in Japan, he doesn't appear, Mr. Tsugotoshi Kamada. Sure. Who remembers, if you grew up in this area, who remembers the Thanksgiving Day Godzilla marathons? And Godzilla vs. Megalon was like a staple of that, this time of the season. If you grew up with these movies on television.
Yeah, to know where the sets.
Godzilla vs. Megalon was also the only prime-time broadcast Godzilla film. Who remembers John Belushi doing the Godzilla, the bumpers in the Godzilla costume? Kind of be like in the mid or early 1980s when he was on Saturday Night Live. And he also did somebody saying, I'll take your word for it. He had done Godzilla skits, skits as Godzilla on Saturday Night Live. There was Frank vs. Godzilla at the time, and also an interview with Barbara Walters as Godzilla, Gilda Radner playing Barbara Walters. So we're going to get started asking some questions, and then we'll also take questions from you. The first question for Mr. Nakajima is, when you began acting as Godzilla and as a suit actor, this had not been done before. There was almost nothing like monsters, in cinema where it was actors inside costume. How did this come about?
Iは台本もらった時にはゴジラっていう名前はなかったんですよ。アルファベットの G 作品というだけ台本。
Actually, when I started, there wasn't even the name Godzilla. The script that I was given was literally labeled G project and then just the letter G.
撮影が始まって1ヶ月ぐらい経ってからそれゴジラの名前が出てきたんです。でゴジラっていうどこが出たかっていうとゴリラとクジラの愛のものそれからできた名前なんです。
And actually, it was only after 1 month of filming that we even got a name for my character, which was Godzilla. And in Japanese, it's Gojira. And we were told, I was told that it was a combination of Gorilla, gorilla, and Kushira, which is whale.
それからゴジラが、続いてきたんですね、今まで。その時はもうないんですよ。それからもう61年続きましたね。 まあそれはありがたいことですね。続けているのは。
And of course, that name has persisted all this time. It's been just over 60 years now. I must say I'm very grateful for that.
大変幸せです。
I'm very, very happy that Godzilla still remains such a big character.
きっかけはね、なんともわかんないんですよ。他の日本の人たちね、なんかそういう仕事が多かったんですよ。例えば、タリバンをやったりなんかして。
So actually, in terms of how I ended up being Godzilla, I'm actually not really sure myself. I've been doing a lot of stunt work before that, especially like diving in and out of the water. So I think that's part of why, and fighting. So I think that's why the people that were behind the scenes chose me.
僕の場合はね、アクションが好きだったんですね。アクション専門にやってましたから。
Actually, I personally liked action movies and I enjoyed being in and being a part of action movies. Is that okay with you guys?
So for Mr. Kamada, kind of the same question. How did it come about that he became a superhero?
Yeah, don't worry about it. Just go ahead, go through, don't worry about it.
Who are you with?
Actually,
You're with them?
was a regular actor, a non-suit actor. And it was actually, I purposely went out and auditioned for the role, and that role was Ninja Jaguar.
Oh, buddy.
And
Don't worry about it. Thank you.
how did he auditioned for this role? He wanted this character that turned out to be a suit acting role, kind of like a stunt actor. What were the kind of qualifications that he looked for? And they just decided all these actors in the suit, they was limited to doing some kind of rough and tumble stunt acting.
Actually, I had learned karate, and I had also been a boxer. And
Don't worry about it.
They were looking for someone who was athletic and had experience being.
So for Mr. Nakajima, he worked with two of the main Godzilla directors, Godzilla special effects directors, Mr. Tsuburaya and then Mr. Nakano. What was the difference in their styles, and what can you tell us about those two special effects directors working with them?
Are they coming back or? Don't know? Okay. Okay.
So, Master Tsuburaya was a very kind of orthodox director in the sense that he went in a straight line. He went from beginning to end, chronological order. And I have to say that whether it was Master Nakano or one of the other special effects directors, since they were his disciples, they really weren't allowed to stray. So everyone, the other apprentices didn't necessarily develop their own style. They just tried to be just like Tsuburaya, especially because he's the one that forced the path.
So for Mr. Kamada, Mr. Nakajima and Mr. Kamada didn't work on the same Godzilla movie. But Mr. Kamada did work with the same special effects director, Mr. Nakano. What can you tell us about Mr. Nakano's style?
Mr. Nakano, why
I have to say, the one thing that's very memorable is that director Nakano loved to use fire. Lots of scenes with fire.
That's freaking awesome.
The other thing, personally, is that when I won the role, they still determined that I was a little too short, that my legs were shorter than they wanted. So they actually added sponge platforms to my shoes so that I'd be taller. Short legs. Japanese, short legs. About an inch and a half.
Yeah, Mr. Nakano, his special effects style is known for a lot of pyrotechnics. In the 70s, when he took over as the special effects director, they didn't seem to have as much money or time, so he couldn't do as elaborate special effects shots, and he would make up for it by doing a lot of explosions and a lot of fire effects, just to make the scenes epic. For Mr. Nakajima, he worked with two of the main Godzilla drama directors as well, Mr. Honda and Mr. Fukuda. What was Mr. Fukuda, Jun Fukuda? What was the difference in their styles from what he remembers?
円谷先生が亡くなってから私がね一生懸命こうその真似するような
I don't necessarily like to, just going back to your earlier question, I don't necessarily like to repeat what's already been done, but I have to say after Director Tsuburaya passed away, the disciples that took on his work, they would watch the films that he and I produced beforehand to learn the techniques, because they wanted to keep going in the same way. Not that that wasn't really my favorite thing, but I do remember that.
皆さんは本編の人間ですからね、同じ俳優さんのようですね、この場合は全然違う。
In terms of directors Honda and Fukuda, I can't actually speak much directly about them because they directed the live actors, the non-suit actors, and so I didn't really have much direct interaction with them or the two of them. So I don't know if I really have the experience to relate about their differences.
Mr. Kamada also worked with Mr. Fukuda, and besides being in the special effects scenes, he did work in the drama scenes because the character of Judge was integral to that story of Godzilla vs. Megalon. What could he tell us about Mr. Fukuda as a director?
重たいような感じで演じてくれといいです、最初は。
So, in terms of Director Fukuda, yes, I did actually work intimately with him. And because my character, Jet Jagger, is a robot, an artificial life form, initially he told me that I should act very stiff, like a heavy mechanical object, because that's how robots were back then.
そして最後に人工ロボットが知能を持つようになった時は割と人間らしく演じてくれたと言います。
And then towards the end, when the robot actually gained sentience, he then directed and said that I should be more human-like.
福田監督の場合はね、僕はよく知ってるんですよね。稲垣さんのコンビのロマンティックのチームで、志村さんが亡くなってからそういう変わって監督になって全く勉強してないんですよ。もう監督プレイヤーじゃできないです。だから普通のこういうキャラクターを知らない初めてのキャラクターを扱う監督になった。
In terms of Director Fukuda, the one thing I can say is he was actually not necessarily directly an understudy to Director Honda. He was under actually someone called Mr. Inagaki. And so he had a lot of experience filming historical dramas. This was the first time he'd ever done anything resembling action or suit acting or monster films. So, he came with nothing on his sleeve before, no previous knowledge, and he actually didn't necessarily study the older films either. He kind of just went in his own direction.
For Mr. Nakajima, when he was asked by Mr. Tsuburaya to begin coaching and advising other suit actors for the TV series, such as Ultraman or Ultra Q. How did you go about, bringing this team of other actors again? This wasn't done much before they started doing shows like Ultraman or Ultra Q. Having many actors playing different characters inside suit costumes.
テレビシリーズが始まるときに力を入れたときに、じゃあこの若手の他のスーツアクターの先輩になってくださいって言われたときはどう思いますか？
僕はもう他の俳優さんがね、できないような人間だったり、できない人もいるんですよ、志村さんはね、あの人はもう二度とダメだなと。その人に絶対やらない。僕にはね、あの人は
で、中島さんはどう反応しました？それに対して。
いや、もう志村さん志村さんって僕と作った他の人も真似してそれは本当のうまいな。
そのダメな人を特別絞ったり、特別なレッスンをしたりされました。それはやっぱりダメな人はもうそれでダメさせられる。So I have to say it was interesting because the production company would gather all these young fellows, and there's some who really quick studies, and there are others just wouldn't pick up what they had to do. And Director Tsuburaya was very harsh but kind. He wouldn't tell the actors directly. He would come to me and say, "That guy, he's not going to work out." And unfortunately, it wasn't like I would take them aside and give them any additional training or anything. I mean, people who couldn't learn just sadly couldn't learn.
And give us an idea of like how they would get, for example, the script, and would the actors block out what they needed to do? What was the process when there was more than one suit actor or several that had to do scenes together?
1人以上のスーツアクターが同じ場面に登場するときはどういうやり方だったんですか？例えば最初に台本をもらって、スーツアクターだけで集まって、どうやってその場面に仕組むか話し合って考えるんですか？
教えても分かんないから絶対ダメだ。教えても
じゃあ自分たちで練習したんですか？この場面は僕がこうして君をこうしてとかいう
アクションはね、例えばね、作られたのね、俺は監督である、ね、そういう芝居は知らないから、お前はアクターだから何でもできるんだ。そういう自信を持ってやるんだ。全責任をあんたに任せるから、お前に全部任せる。100% 任せてくれる。
ただ最後の時に、じゃあこの角度から撮影しましょうとか、どういう彼が
監督がね、お前はアクターだからね、全責任を持たせたら自分でやらせと言われたらありがたい。本当に俳優さんって言うないからね。
I have to say, as an actor, I was truly blessed to work with director Tsuburaya because his motto was, I am a director. You are the actor. I don't know anything about acting. I know about directing. So we would get the script and he would say, okay, you guys work out amongst yourselves how you want the scene to play out. And I leave it all to you, 100%. So as an actor, it was a tremendous amount of responsibility, yes, but also a tremendous amount of freedom. So, what he did at the end was kind of decide what angles he wanted to film it from and things like that. But in terms of the actual action, the blow by blow, that was all left to us.
For Kamada-san, kind of the same question. The movie Godzilla vs. Megalon basically has four giant monsters, one's a robot, fighting it out. How did they work the action out amongst themselves?
Actually, it was completely different from Mr. Nakajima's experience. By the time I came along, the director was definitely giving us the exact line by line or blow by blow for each scene. So we were told what to do. We didn't necessarily come up with things ourselves.
Also for Kamada-san, everybody here, knows Godzilla vs. Megalon, the character of Jet Jacker, seen the movie as children, grew up with this. What can you tell us about the development of that character for that movie, and maybe something that everybody doesn't know about Jet Jacker?
ジェットジャガーは最初は人工ロボット、心がなかったです。 最初は。それが終わりのには心を持つロボットで終わりました。はい。
So, for those of you who may not have seen it, in the movie, Jet Jaguar is, like I said, an artificial life being, a robot who has no soul, being a machine. And yet, towards the end, he develops not just sentience, but also a sense of loving heart. And that was already set from the very beginning.
だから最後にはゴジラを助ける、心が動いてゴジラを助ける、そういうシーンになっていました。
And so that's why he's able to, at the end, actually come to Godzilla's aid and help Godzilla.
足が短いので、少しでも足が長く見えるようにスポンジをつけた監督がそれだけです。
Well, I think the most funniest story, and really probably the only story that's out there that I just spilled to you earlier, is the fact that because I was so short, the director added about 1.5 inches of sponge platform to my shoes to make me look taller.
それとフライングするときに板が右に立ってで6人が
And also, maybe some of you would find it interesting that for the scenes where I would launch, the character would launch into the air to start flying, that launching sequence involved me standing on a very thick board, like a plank, and 6 other people that you don't obviously end up seeing on screen lifting up the board so that it looks like I'm just going straight up, and then the character starts flying. Oh, for those of you who just got what I said, could you raise your hand?
For Nakajima-san, the same question. All of these fans grew up with Godzilla, saw Godzilla at a young age, and his other characters as well. His movies captured everybody's imagination as children. What can you tell us about the development of either Godzilla as a character, Godzilla, or any of the other monsters? Maybe something everybody doesn't know about how Godzilla developed.
他の怪獣演じた怪獣に関してなんか面白い裏話を教えてください。
26本やってるしか私はでその中の12本がゴジラ、他はキングコングとかサンダー対ガイラとか東大人間とかそれでやってます。全部で26本です。
Well, I was actually ended up in 26 movies. Only 12 of which in which I played Godzilla, and I played many other characters, including even King Kong. And I'm very, very grateful to Director Tsubaraya because it's rare for a director, especially back in that day in Japan, to use an actor so often. I mean, I guess it meant that I was a pretty decent actor because I don't think he would have kept using me if I sucked. But it also meant that he had a very good eye. Do you agree?
Thank you.
So let's take some questions from everybody. What I'm going to do is I'm going to come down there and question, just come right to the front. Let's take Vinny first. Yeah, I know this guy.
I would like to know, like,
how he felt in the outfit, and that did he like the overall design, and does he know like every single kid in America loved that freaking cat?
This is for Jet Jagger. Hey, come on. Hey,
Jim, can you repeat the question?
Cal, I wanted to know like, okay, what it felt like being in the outfit.
It was actually fitted to me, so it's actually really comfortable.
まるで自分がジェットジャガーのロボットになったようなイメージです。
It actually helped me get into character. In fact, I could put it on and suddenly I feel like I was Jet Jagger.
Did he like the overall design in the character?
デザインは、マスクも素晴らしくよくできたスーツです。
Indeed, I felt that it was quite well crafted. Whether it was the mask or the bodysuit, it was remarkable.
Yes. Now, a long time ago, you told me that you were in the Godzilla suit and that you were in the water and that you almost drowned in the suit. Is that true?
それはね、マスコミの作り話。
I think someone made that up for publicity purposes. I don't remember ever almost drowning.
私はライセンスを持ってます。
I have a diving license after all.
And do both of you guys know, like around the world, like every freaking kid like freaks out over you guys.
I think I have a pretty good idea now. I'm very happy about that.
私はその後テレビの日本のテレビの冒険ロックバット156本やりました。それで包帯を体にぐるぐる顔に巻いてそれが取れるリバース撮影でもう少しで持続しそうになりました。
I have a story to go along with Mr. Nakajima's though. After I did Jet Jagger, I was actually in a Japanese TV series called Boken Rokpa. And I played this character that was swathed in bandages, kind of almost like a mummy, including my face, including over my mouth. And I was in 156 episodes, and part of the story was how the wrappings would come unraveled. But I couldn't breathe, and I almost passed out at one point.
Another question. How often do you get to ask Godzilla or Jet Jagger a question? Come on over.
How old was he when he got into a Godzilla suit?
25歳です。
25.
The first Godzilla movie, he was 25. Another question.
And did he feel happy to be in the Godzilla suit?
楽しいよりも仕事だからしょうがないというような感じですね。
I mean, man, it was my job. I didn't necessarily have a say in it, especially at the beginning.
Thank you. Another question.
You want me to move over? Okay. No problem.
My question for Nakajima-san is, all things considered, weight, practicality, aesthetics, which Godzilla suit were you most fond of?
ゴジラ12本出ましたけど、さっき言いましたけど、
の場合はですね、全部オーダーメイド、少ないです。一本一本でみんな全部仕事で行われてる。写真が終わったらもう全部使用不可能になる。いや、みんな同じです。もう全部オーダーメイドで作られて、自分で作られて、朝から晩までかけてるんです。
Well, I have to say, I don't know if I really have a favorite or which one was easiest to wear because they were all order made. And in fact, each time we had to have at least one new suit made because by the time we finished filming, it was falling apart, or if not, fell apart right after filming. So I couldn't really necessarily even fall in love with any one costume because it was going to be different again the next time.
And for you, sir, seeing as you came a bit late to the Godzilla franchise, how much of those films were you aware of previously, and what did you want to bring to the series?
No, no. You can sit closer to if you want. Yeah, I just missed it. Oh, yeah, enjoy.
Yes, I was actually quite aware. In fact, I was a Godzilla fan to the point where I looked up to Mr. Nakajima first as a legend, which he is, but as someone that I wanted to emulate. And like I said, I was not a suit actor initially, but it was kind of my dream to be. So when I finally was able to be part of the Godzilla franchise, I was like, oh my God, Mr. Nakajima is my senpai now.
Another question.
That was very meme-worthy.
Yeah, one of the new ways is mention of the asteroids. And battle scene in front of the planet. Can you remember anything about it? Especially because
He's asking about the movie Kaiju Daisenso, and there's a fight on another planet, a monster battle on another planet. He wants to know, is there anything particularly memorable for Nakajima-san, especially when Godzilla's doing the shake pose. It's like it's a distinctive pose.
Kaiju Daisenso の場合はね、キャラクターが大勢来るでしょ。だからみんな同じ立ち回りをさせちゃいけないから、ABC とかいろいろあるでしょ。なんか大変だよ。全部それはその振り付けを全部私が原版を教えてきて、お前出てきたカモで全部させて、でアクションに合わせて、できなかったらもう潰れたら、私がゲームさんって言いました。でそれはもう目の前でやらないと、僕にはすぐにえらい監督で言うから。
So, in that scene, there's like a bunch of different monsters that appear, maybe up to 5, I want to say, and of course we had actors 3. Well, okay, sorry. So there were 5 actors, I guess, that may have auditioned for these 3 parts. And so I taught them all what to do and put them through the ropes. And I kind of said, come here, and I'm going to do 101, and then I take the next actor. And then we practiced the scene, and then I would call Director Tsuburaya over, and he was the one who'd be like, number 2, but he was, like I said, he was harsh, but he was very kind. He didn't want to embarrass the poor guy, so he would never tell them directly. He'd come to me, and I'd have to be the bad guy and be like, sorry, you don't have to come back tomorrow.
Another question.
Hi. Considering all the effort that you guys, considering all the effort that you guys did to put on and take off the costumes, my question is, how do you feel about America's version of giant monsters, where it's basically CGI technology and there's no suits involved?
結構慣れない人も大勢いますからね。全部教えてやって、それでできなかったのも怒るね。
じゃあそれで大変さを見て、今のゴジラ、ハリウッドのゴジラで全部 CG なんですけど、その CG のゴジラに関してどう思われますか？
やっぱり人間のやることと CG とは全く違いますからね。苦労が足りないんですよ。CG の場合はね。人間の場合は苦労が分かる。
So, yeah, I mean, especially for like the people that came after, the people that were the secondary kaiju and stuff, if they weren't used to it, it did take quite an effort and time for them to don the costume and to take it off until they got used to it. So, in the case of a human suit actor playing a kaiju, they understand what suffering is. They appreciate the character more. You can't teach that to an animatronic or a CG. You can't program, do you realize how much suffering it takes to wear the suit?
やっぱり人間が入ってやっぱり心、魂がやっぱりスーツを通して演じられるの方がやっぱり私はやっぱり CG よりも素晴らしい。
I have to say I feel the same. I mean, by having a suit actor, by having someone inside the character, you can put that person can put their heart and soul, and therefore give the character heart and soul. And even though, yeah, I mean, if you look at it technically, there's a programmer behind the CG. It's just not the same. I think that's what's so wonderful about having the old school way of doing things.
Let's ask a question to you guys for them along these lines before we get to your question. Whoever can answer, you're welcome to come up. You've all seen the movies as children. Why did these movies capture your imagination the way that CGI doesn't? Who has a comment about that?
To me, CGI really does look fake. It hasn't matured yet.
But wait, before we say CGI looks fake or something, I don't think the purpose of Japanese science fiction or fantasy films is that it looks real. What is it about this for you that captured, imagination?
Well, the one thing is that having a monster, from back in the day, all of a sudden, nuclear explosion happens and bang, here comes Godzilla. And then for Jet Jaguar, what kid wouldn't want to have a Jet Jaguar, a big giant, mechanical friend flying around helping out the world,
So like a big colorful robot kind of appeals to kids. Anybody else have a comment about that? Like what makes their movies unique for you?
I think that there's an intrinsic, ironically human aspect to it, having a suit actor that brings a dynamic to the character that's not replicatable through CGI. There's a feeling and there's an emotion behind it that you don't see in cinema in America.
Having an actor in the suit provides a good connection, especially if you're a child watching these films. Your question.
So, my question is, tokusatsu is a very innate part of Japanese culture. And there have been many iterations of Kamen Rider Metal Heroes that did not make it over to America, at least not very well. What makes you feel, or how did it make you feel, seeing that Godzilla is not even such a timeless aspect, but it resonated with so many people internationally?
私はちょっと分かりにくいんだけど、お客さんが心配になります。俳優さんがね、一生懸命やってもね、まずい芝居をやったら、お客さんがついてきませんよ。だから本当にうまい芝居をしないと、自分自身の芝居を出来上がったっていうこと言えないです。だからできなかったら、本当のお客さんが審判役ですよ。お客さんが正直なんですよ、はっきり言って。お客さんがまずいと見にいらして感じませんよ。
I mean, I actually, personally, I don't really get it either, and I can't speak for the other series because I was not involved in them. But in terms of the Godzilla series, you know, I have to say that all of us who acted in it did a superb job. Because if there isn't good acting, the audience won't resonate. The audience is really judge and jury. So, you know, at least for Godzilla, I guess some of the appeal is that we really did a good job, and that's why, you know, what we tried to portray came out through the screen and was appreciated by audiences. It was something that was appreciable, that was outside the boundary of country or culture.
やっぱりゴジラの中に入ってゴジラすべてが中島さん、ゴジライズ中島さんですから、この魂あれが入ってるからやっぱりゴジラが素晴らしいので、仮面ライダー人造人間になってありますけど、やはり中に魂が入ってないように思うんですよね。ですから、中島さんはもうグレート。
I think to piggyback on that, I really think of Nakajima-san as kind of a god, like a, you know, a true legend. He puts so much soul into the character that he might be alien, he looks alien, but he's very human in some ways, in many ways, and really moved soul. And perhaps, like, this, you know, to take the example of Kamen Rider, I mean, that's another non-human, another kind of even artificial life form, but maybe there just wasn't enough soul in there to kind of resonate enough with foreign audiences.
Let me ask a follow-up question before I take another question. Along these lines, for each of them, is there a difference in being a suit actor versus just being an actor?
Acting is acting. Doesn't matter whether you're wearing a suit or not wearing a suit. There should not be any difference, at least for the craft of acting. After all, it is suit acting.
ミスター中島が、彼はレジェンドです。私が中島さんに要するのには足元にも及ばない。あと1000年も経たないととても追いつけないけど、それまで生きてられないと思います。
Like I said, Mr. Nakajima is a legend. I barely can keep up with him. I'm barely seeing the traces of the footsteps that he has left behind. In fact, I think it would take me 1,000 years to even come close to him, and of course, I don't think I'll be alive by then.
Obviously, Mr. Kamada is a big fan of Mr. Nakajima, and he may be waiting in line for an autograph as well. We'll take your question.
Hi, for Mr. Nakajima.
Hold on, Jim, hold on.
僕の場合はスーツ扱いよりもその芝居の方があるんだと思うんですよ。ですから、細かい顔の芝居とか、あと気持ちを表に出す芝居とか、この少しの感情で出さなきゃいけなかった。それがスーツ扱いの場合は大きく気持ちよりも大きくアクションしないといけない。そういう点は違います。
So I actually had more regular acting roles than suit acting roles in my career, and I have to say that for me there was a difference between the two styles, and not in the fundamentals, but in the fact that when you're wearing a suit, you can't, especially if you're wearing a mask, you can't see as well because the mask doesn't reflect what one's projecting. So I felt like I had to exaggerate any emotions that I wanted to portray more. And, especially if your face is visible, you can do all sorts of tiny little things, like even raising an eyebrow or winking or stuff that you can't express as well with a mask on. So I had to be more creative about how I wanted to emote with a mask on.
Hi, for Mr. Nakajima. This kind of goes along with it. When you're there, you're acting, you're doing the craft, you're inside the suit. What is going on inside your head a little bit? Are you towering over the city? Are you breathing the fire as you work within your suit? In up here.
So I have to say that when piggybacking a little bit on what Mr. Kamada said, you can't, in some ways, you can't act the same way in a suit that you can in terms of expression. So you really have to think carefully about what I need to express and how am I going to bring it through once you put the suit on. And once I put the suit on, if it was, say, Godzilla, the Godzilla suit, it was almost schizophrenic. I wouldn't just become the character. I wouldn't just stay the actor thinking like I'm the character. It was kind of a little bit of both. In part, I had to be Godzilla. I could think like, how would Godzilla think? But on the other hand, I also had to keep in the back of my mind, I'm human and there are limitations to what I can or can't do. Or I have to make sure I can still remember what I'm supposed to do in the end.
ハリウッドの市長であり、ハリウッドの市長であり、ロサンゼルスの市長ですね。市長さんから栄養賞をいただきました。それだけ見てくれたんですよね。
And I have to say, if there's any greater proof of the fact that I did my job well, is that I received an award from the mayor of Los Angeles. And of course, LA was Hollywood. So it's like I got an award from Hollywood. I mean, that was a great honor.
Okay, so we're going to, I'm getting the word we need to wrap it up. Let this gentleman say what he needs to say. But first, let's thank Mr. Nakajima and Mr. Kamada for coming all the way from Japan. And they will be here all weekend. We're going to take a break now, but we'll be back over there signing autographs. So please come meet them, and you can take pictures with them. And thanks for coming.
Ladies and gentlemen, who enjoyed this panel with the man who was Godzilla? And Jet Jaguar. Now remember, if it weren't for these people, the next person we have on our schedule would never have gotten work. Austin St. John is here. Thank you very much. Domo arigato. Now, to my right, you will see lots of independent and legendary artists, and beyond them, lots and lots of vendors where you can get your Christmas shopping done early. To my left, you will find even more artists, even more vendors, even more celebrities, and beyond that, the panel room, at which, right now, we'll be beginning Arlen Schumer's lecture on the Silver Age of comic book art. What turned comics around in the through the 1950s and 1960s from being what it was to what it is today. Go find out about Jack Kirby and Gil Kane and the various other artists who made comics what they are today in the panel room in the back. There will be programming all day long, so enjoy New York Wintercon, everybody. I'm Captain Zorik. I'll be with you all weekend.